Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting for October 7th, 2025. I'd like to welcome you all. Please don't forget to sign the log sheet in the back before leaving. We appreciate that. Can I have a roll call, please?
You may. Mr. Kaufman?
Here.
Ms. Colvin?
Here.
Mr. Jacobs?
Here.
We have a form, sir.
Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have approval of the minutes from the previous meeting from September 16th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting of September 16th.
I will second.
All right. Well, all in favor of the meeting minutes approval for September 16th, say aye. And nays, like sign. Motion's carried.
Okay, any additions, removals, or disclosures from the updated posted agenda?
We have one addition, resolution 2025-77, resolution instituting the use of time clock system for Wayne Township Fire Department effective the first pay period in January of 2026.
Okay. Any others? None?
I don't have anything.
Okay, moving forth. Citizens' comments.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Mike Wimmall, 6519 Catney Court, Corwin, Waynesville, however you can call it. I just want to take a moment tonight to address something that has been circulating in the community. There's been a rumor that I'm only running for trustee in contention with the fire department and/or the fire chief. And let me be very clear, that cannot be farther from the truth. I respect the work our fire department does and the men and women who serve our community every single day. My campaign is not about any one person or any one position. It's about Wayne Township as a whole. Like you, protecting our farmland, easing the tax burden on homeowners, and making sure our township is prepared for the future. I'm running because I deeply care about this community. I've spent my career in public service, and I believe Wayne Township deserves transparent leadership that puts residents first. My focus is not on personalities or rumors. My focus is on the future of Wayne Township. With that said, I do have a question that I think many residents that I've talked to would like answered. Why isn't the renewal fire levy for the fire department on this ballot? I've heard it said that the reason is because it should wait till next year because everybody wants to see what happens with property taxes. With respect, I think that explanation does not make sense. Fire and EMS are essential services. Waiting another year creates uncertainty for our fire department, for the firefighters, and for the residents who depend on it. Our community deserves clarity and honesty on this issue. If there is another reason why the levy is not on the ballot this year, I believe the people of Wayne Township deserve to hear directly and in plain terms. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Would you like me to answer that, my personal?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it would have passed. I don't think that the residents want it.
A renewal or a?
I mean, I don't think it should, right now, I don't think it would have passed, to be honest with you. I think there's too much turmoil with the whole property tax that my viewpoint is that I want to put it on the ballot when I feel like that it has the best opportunity to pass. And I think there is a lot of question marks. And so for me personally, Matt,
Sure.
I did not feel like that it was the best time to put it on the ballot.
And I respect that, and may I rebuttal that?
Yep.
So my rebuttal to that is we put on a new levy, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 2.5 mil, and then it was 2.25 or something to those effects, 3 times, almost 3 consecutive times. Each time, it was fairly close, and the last time, and I don't care what chief it was under, I don't think he had any part to do. I think he honestly inherited some issues that he's had to deal with, so I don't think the levy was his fault, and I want to be very clear about that. But we still put that on 3 times, knowing that it failed each time. And then the 3rd time, it was a substantial margin. My concern is one, trustees they're a voice for the people, and ultimately the people should decide. So I respect that you feel that maybe it shouldn't have gone on, but a lot of people think inherently there's something else going on. And I don't know if there is or not. I can't speak to that. But I do know that next year that levy does expire, and if we put it on in the spring, historically, there's less voter turnout, so higher margin for it to fail. And then, if we roll it into next November and it fails, 2027, you know, and I really didn't think about it until Scott brought it up the last trustees meeting, when he was talking about the 587, or 580K, you know, overhead, that they wanted down to 100% of the operating expenses, and he was trying to save some of that, just in case. I think a lot of education could have went out on behalf of the trustees to explain that it is a renewal levy, and I get it, it is hard times, the school's gonna ask for stuff, you know, the fire department needs stuff, but at the end of the day, if we can't have people on staff,
Well,
we're not
We
serving
know
the
that.
community.
I understand.
I understand you know that, but I think if you're not gonna put it on, we need to sell it why we're not putting it on, just as hard as if we sell it, if we do put it on, because people not knowing leads to rumors.
Not one resident has come to me and asked why the issue wasn't put on the ballot for this fall. Personally, I'm telling you right now, personally. So, to me, I'm sorry, maybe I just didn't know that it's being talked about out in the community or whatever, but yeah.
It's a conversation, and I didn't even think about it honestly until Scott said something about it not going on to next year, and I remember last year talking about this very thing, that it'd be an issue. But I think at the end of the day, we should maybe let the people decide. And I respect your decision, I think it's a well thought out decision, and I don't always have the right answers, or the best answers, and I've been doing it a long time, so I respect that, but it's just very untimely. I think pushing it till next year really throws a lot of uncertainty. I know the chief applied for the SAFER grant, so if you get that, now you get the SAFER grant, and now you have to push a levy, a renewal levy, and now you have to push another levy on right behind that to support the SAFER grant, potentially. Now, I know, I've looked at the budget, there's probably room to play in there and be able to afford 4 people during the day. I mean, it's a pretty substantial budget, you might have to cut a few things, we might have to stop paying for another station and the electric and stuff like that, or property that, you know, we don't have, but I think there's room in there for that. So maybe you don't have to push that second levy, but at the end of the day, the renewal is very, very vital,
I understand that.
so,
I think with all these groups going around trying to get signatures for this no property tax, I mean, it's not the right time. We didn't think it was the right time to do it because they're out there trying to promote no property tax, and there's so many, we're such a conservative area, and they're really pushing it to the conservative people that they don't wanna pay property tax. We needed to let that settle before we figure out what we can do.
and with all due respect, I think that's just a deflection.
Okay, well,
It doesn't
that was
matter.
our decision.
I understand, but I'm telling you, from a resident, a tax-paying resident, I think it's deflection. I support their services. I think if my mom calls 911, I want an ambulance to show up. If your family calls 911, I want an ambulance to show up. I don't want to have to wait for Clear Creek or another. I want Wayne Township to show up.
I agree.
We historically had a very well-funded, well-ran department. Volunteers are the issue right now. Money's the issue right now. And inhibiting
We show
the
up
levy.
faster than we ever did. Right now, so.
But I think it's a scapegoat to say that we're not putting on the levy because we're worried about property taxes, because if it passes and we get rid of property taxes, it's a moot point. If it doesn't pass and we keep property taxes, you've lost, you're behind. So it's a win-win if you pass it and something happens or doesn't happen, but you're behind the 8 ball if we don't do anything with property taxes, and now you're fighting for a levy. But that's just my 2 cents for what it's worth. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Any other citizens' comments? Hearing none, okay. Moving forward, road department report. Good evening, Scott.
Good evening, board. Just a couple additions to my report. I do have the new speed limit sign for car to drive in my possession. I tried to get out there yesterday to get it marked and just ran out of time, and then today it wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
We needed the rain.
Yeah.
It
Soften
kind
the
of
ground up for you.
did some other things that kind of held that up, but I'll get that done. We're currently working on the cylinder rebuild on the road grader. It was leaking at about leaking out hydraulic fluid, so we got that tore apart, and I've got some parts ordered for that now. And additionally, I already have a preliminary list for road resurfacing for 26, but that needs refining and reevaluated, and I've been starting to look at that because it won't be long, the county's gonna want it, so they can start getting ready for their bid process. And that is all I have, unless you have anything to pass along to me.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you, and you're welcome.
Appreciate it, Scott. Moving forth, fire department report. Good evening, chief.
Good evening, everybody, thank you. Runs for September, 82 EMS runs, 37 fire runs, for a total of 119. For the year, we're at 661 EMS calls, 349 fire runs, so a total of 1,010. We're on track to do over 1,300 runs again this year, so. The ODNR burn ban went into effect October 1st at 6 a.m. and will continue until December 1st, and then it goes back in March, April, and May. So no burning from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at all. It's Fire Prevention Month. We had our first set of tours today. We had about 60 first graders in the morning and probably about 50 or so in the afternoon. No, I'm sorry, today was kindergarten. First grade's next week, preschool's tomorrow. So we had a full firehouse today, so it was very nice. The kids come in, they did take lots of pictures, and I do have them that jumped the gun on correspondence. We got a custom signed banner from all the students, so that was nice. Thank you to the crews that were there. They really went out of their way, putting their gear on and interacting with the kids, and it was a good event. One of the teachers said it was the best one she'd been to. She said it last year too, so, but, as long as we're
Double best.
on the upward. We also attended the elementary school's fun run and had some of the kids come out and look at the truck, kind of a time filler for them. We had a run in the middle of the morning, so we were able to capture the afternoon fully. Sauerkraut Festival, I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It's happening next week, or this coming weekend. The IAP and Ops Plan went out to, in draft form to Chief Copeland and the Sheriff's Office and the people that needed it, and I'll send ours out tomorrow once it's, I get any comments back. We'll discuss our training captain proposal in the work session, I believe, and then, resignation of Sophie Nelson. Sophie got hired at the, Miami Valley Joint Fire District and at West Carrollton, and both of those will probably offer her a full-time job here in the next couple of months, so. She was very broken up, she was very upset to leave, but I get it. Yeah, so, and that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
I have none.
All right,
None. Thank you.
Chief.
thank you.
Moving forward, zoning department report. Good evening, Stacy.
Good evening. Just have a list there of all the permits for the month. Our second self-storage units are now have their permits that they can get started at Bentley's. Then I've got a list here of all the upcoming hearings and the previous hearings. So on the 18th, the variance hearing before the Board of Zoning Appeals was approved. We have 2 applications for next week, a variance and a conditional use. And then as far as the zoning code text amendments go, the next step, of course, is with you, the trustees, for a public hearing on the 21st to hear what the other 2 boards have recommended and for you guys to make your decision. The magazine, of course, went out, has been delivered. The revenue has been collected for the most part. I'm just missing the actual printing cost at this point. And once I have that, I should be able to give you a reconciliation of the cost per issue for the township. And that's all I have tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Stacy. Any questions for her?
No, thank you, Stacy.
Thanks.
Okay, moving forth. Good evening, Gus. Administrator's report.
Good evening, board. OPWC project, just a little update on that. There has been a disbursement from the Ohio Public Works Commission back to the contractor, so we're working on getting that completely paid. We should have probably another invoice coming this month that we'll have to process through and make final payment on everything. In regards to the Warren County Budget Commission, what was talked about, the rationale for yearly carryover, especially in a couple of our funds. There's been follow-up, property tax work group issues, they issued recommendation. And this is a result of following and signing of House Bill 96, the state operating budget for fiscal year 26 and 27. Governor DeWine formed a property tax work group to issue recommendations to the General Assembly to help lower property taxes for Ohio. I want to put a footnote in there that, in my opinion, there was not representation from local government, especially townships, on that committee. When you look through the packet that I sent you, I think that we weren't at the table. OTA has not spoken out one way or the other on that. The work group issued their final report, which included a total of 20 recommendations. Some of the most prominent ones are in the report. This to allow the county budget commission to reduce voter approved levies if they find the collection as unnecessary or excessive, and recommends defining those terms. So we'll probably have 88 different definitions of that from 88 different county budget commissions. Limit carryover balances for all taxing jurisdictions to 100% of their budget. Eliminate substitute levies. Implement reforms to levy ballot language for transparency and clarification. Implement a tax deferral program for seniors. Encourage the governor to form a work group to analyze levels of government. The full recommendations are included in your packets. As this remains a fluid topic, in my opinion, it is quite evident that state legislature is going to do something, which is a good thing. And more likely than they're just gonna kick the can down the road to the local government or to the county budget commissions to evaluate each of the local government's budgets and not collect voted millage, even though the residents or the people have approved tax money to different entities. If they don't show a way of need in the submittal of their annual budgets. So I didn't read that. That was Matt.
You're saying it wrong.
And Matt was, our county auditor was one of the leads in the state commission on this. They did meet 10 or 11 times in a matter of a 2-month period, so it was very, almost hastily put together, but I mean, it's a good report, and I think there's good information on it. It's just a matter that it really is putting everything just now into some sort of formula as to what we can expect out of it, but there's still, quite a ways to go with it. So all we can do is hang tight and see what they recommend. Cybersecurity policy, the OTA did come out since our last meeting with a sample cybersecurity policy and program for jurisdictions to adopt. I think ours is very similar to what they came out with, so I think ours is adequate at this time. And just some miscellaneous stuff, the Warren County Courthouse had their ribbon cutting this morning at 7, on October 7th at 10:30 a.m. We got Sauerkraut Festival coming up 11 and 12, and we got the Chamber Meet the Candidates Night on Monday, October 20th at 6:30 p.m. And that's all I have.
Any other questions for Gus? Hearing none?
None.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Moving forward, fiscal officer report. Good evening, Scott.
Good evening, board, how are you? So, I don't have a lot really tonight. The transition to People's Bank is going along. We've just signed some documents tonight for Star and ordering checks, and so it's still in process, and it'll be a little bit, but we're moving forward with that. With regard to, Gus, touched on this. I've been, over the last 2 weeks, I've been talking several times with Matt, and we haven't officially filed anything with him, but he knows where our head is, and I understand where he is. And we probably, I don't know if it'll be part of this work session, but, we're going into appropriations, and so it'd be worthwhile to discuss the number. But spent a lot of time going over some of these numbers during this last 2 weeks to see where we're headed and what we need to do. And I've talked, like I said, several times with Matt. And, I think that's largely it. I don't think I have anything else tonight. So that's, we can talk, more about those numbers and stuff later. But that's done for now. Unless you guys have questions.
I do.
Mine is.
Okay.
That's good, thank you. Thank you for everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, moving forward, we have old business. Safer grant, any updates?
They've started issuing them, then the government shut down, so I don't know. I talked to Chief O'Brien at, City of Oregon, where I work, they got theirs, just talking with him. He said, if you haven't heard by now, no news is good news, but that was last week, so. I sent an email to our grant writer just to see if she had any insider information. She did not. So.
Any other updates regarding property?
No, Tom has been, he's had some illness in the family, with his spouse, so he's been, kind of on the back burner for, probably the last 2 weeks. He did say he would try to get hold of me tomorrow. He's been up in Columbus, most of the time, so.
Best for him. Okay, any other old business? None, okay, moving forward, new business, questions or concerns of the bills? Do I have a motion to approve payment of the bills presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, voice vote. Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
All right, this is passed.
Okay, legislation, we have a resolution 2025-76, accepting the resignation of Sophie Nelson, firefighter EMTB for the Wayne Township Fire Department. Chief already touched base on that. I don't think there's any need to discuss anymore, so I make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-76.
And I'll second.
Alrighty, roll call vote. Mr. Kaufman?
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This resolution is passed the 7th day of October.
Okay, resolution 2025-77, a resolution instituting the use of a time clock system for the Wayne Township Fire Department effective first pay period, January 2026. Any other discussion regarding this resolution?
No, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-77.
I'll second.
All right. Roll call vote. Mr. Kaufman?
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
And this resolution is passed the 7th day of October.
So Lieutenant Dow,
You're good.
would like to lead us in discussion of starting the process of changing the domain name.
So Ghost reached out to me, probably a couple months ago when a lot of the cybersecurity stuff started. I guess the state's kind of wanting local governments and stuff to try and start using .gov domains, just because they're a little more trustworthy as opposed to .us, .com domains. I've looked at the website and stuff to request the one for us. The Wayne Township .gov is available. Looking at the website right now, they're not processing any new ones right now because of the
Yeah.
government shutdown. So, I mean, it'd be fairly streamlined. We run it pretty much parallel to the Wayne Township.us right now, so everybody gets emails and stuff switched over with everybody, and then we can slowly fade out the Wayne Township.us one and be strictly on the .gov website. So, it seems like a fairly straightforward process and really wouldn't notice much of a difference other than you just say Wayne Township.gov as opposed to US, and that's if they give us that domain. They want us to try and be specific as possible, so like Wayne Township OH.gov is available, or WCOH for Wayne County, or County, Ohio is available. So just a couple different versions in case they come back and say that's not specific enough.
Yeah, I would rather see a little bit more specific.
So whatever we want to do, we can. They just say avoid using hyphens, or hyphens and numbers and dots. So it'll all be one big word. Or we can shorten Wayne Township down to WAYTWP.
Okay. What's timeline you think, something like this, how long does that usually take?
When the government.
Depends on how long it takes them to process the
I'm saying once
request.
the government opens up.
Once they approve it, it's fairly quick on my end. So it's just how long it takes the government to do the paperwork, and we all know how that can run. I think they say it take about a couple months
Okay,
to get approval to use that one.
Excellent.
all right.
Anything else then, Lieutenant?
Not unless Gus has anything.
Anything else?
No, on that subject.
Next, we're gonna talk about open enrollment AFLAC meeting on October 24th.
Just have a reminder out there that, it's been in November the last 2 years, but actually our enrollment is in October, and supposed to start in November. We have one new employee, I don't think Mr. Fitzsimmons has been fully signed up, and I don't know that, we've got a couple updates that we need to make. I know there's been some talk about, employees wanting vision. Aflac did come out with, they've always had, but they got a vision and dental plan. But just in my opinion, I would rather, if we go, I'm not against going with the health, or with the vision and dental plan. We got a dental plan already with our health insurance. It would just like, when we update next May with our renewal, add the vision plan to that at that time, and not to add any more confusion with the Aflac. Just keep the Aflac with the disability insurance that we pay, and then if employees want to add anything onto it, then that's up to them. And keep it,
Or just make it optional.
yeah, and keep it till only full-time employees. Due to the fact of the way the billing is on Aflac, that once you start offering it to part-time employees, if we don't have,
Hey,
we know what we ran into in the past, that we've had to make payments in lieu of the personnel making payments, and then that's caused a lot of confusion.
Yes.
right.
Don't wanna make it any harder on our new fiscal officer.
Any other discussion regarding that then? Okay, so next, Diane, want to talk about IT system?
Yeah, so in last year, early last year, we looked at Elite Computers as a potential, solution. I know, David, you do a great job, but you're not single, but you are a single person. And I don't know, we've kind of gotten to the point where we might want to look at some other solution to try to just have more of a team doing our IT solutions, especially with this new cybersecurity stuff, and I don't know, it's open for discussion. I know we had a quote from them last year, and we had a list of risks that were identified. I don't know if there's any other groups that anybody has that would also, so we could get some competing offers or something to us. Maybe they can come in and, I know did you get something from Chief Copeland on what they're using down there at the village?
Yeah.
It's all governments are running into the same
High cap.
high cap.
So they're using high cap.
Are they local, do you know anything? Do you know anything about them? Yeah, you weren't here
Yeah.
that we talked about it,
So
yeah.
I'm just read up on this and that's what this is as much as I know right here. So how did we how did we come up with the lead last year? I guess that's the question.
Clear Creek,
Clear Creek uses them, yeah, and they're in Washington Township, you can see, so they're local. They have a team of what, about 5 people or something? I looked on their website, it looked like,
They do Clear Creek Township, City of Spring Grove, City of Franklin, City of Germantown, County Valley Fire District, among others.
yeah, they sound like might be a good fit, but since, High Cap is doing the Village of Waynesville, I don't know how they discovered them, but. Is this something Tanner and Dave could maybe look at together?
Yeah, that's their AOR, so, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let me get some updated.
have we made some updates, Dave, since last?
Yeah, so, a lot of the stuff they identified, I've kind of already mitigated because,
Don't talk about what it was, just so you know.
now that we went to SharePoint, I went to Microsoft 365, I've moved all the emails and stuff, SharePoint, OneDrive, all that stuff's been moved over to the cloud. So we're not really using a lot of our equipment anymore, we're only using our equipment for about 2 things throughout the entire township, everything else is pretty much in the cloud now. All of our emails, and everything are in the cloud, the phone server's been moved to the cloud. So there's very minimal now that we have locally here. Everybody's computers are being backed up to OneDrive, so that's one set of backups for everybody's information. Plus, I'm also making a backup of everything that's in 365 locally as well, so we have another backup on top of that. So we've mitigated some of the risks, a lot of the risks that were identified by Elite Computers when they did that.
How often do you back up?
It backs up on a daily basis.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, it backs up your emails on a daily basis or as changes are made, so it's constantly making a backup. I keep about 10 backups at a time before we go through and we start overriding backups just to keep
Yeah.
storage space and stuff down. But the only thing, we're using some of the older servers at the fire department for network logins, mainly for the firefighters that all use a shared computer. All the officers and the administrative staff, you guys all have your own computers, so you pretty much have your own logins on your own computers now. So there's not really too much of a need for that, and then I'm using one server to just record all the cameras for security stuff around the department to it. So I've kind of mitigated down a little bit to where we don't need, if we're gonna go to server, we only maybe need to go with one server, don't need all that we have right now. Trying to keep the cost and stuff down.
It's good with you going back, having to go back to the office and stuff, I hope it would take off some of your burden.
Well, with everything being in the cloud too, it's a little more accessible from anywhere. I don't have to be here on the network to administer, I don't have to remote into it, I can log in real quick, fix issues and log right back out, so. But I mean, they're also there, like I said, looking at their quote that Elite gave me, they'll sit there and they'll monitor the network for intrusions and stuff, they're there, they can respond a lot quicker than I can.
Right,
If I'm tied up in a meeting and something's happening and I can't get away to fix something,
exactly.
you guys are down, I mean, Tanner may not be able to fix it on the spot when he's in, so you guys having that option to call somebody.
Yeah, somebody we're paying to call.
So, but yeah, I definitely, if we're gonna go through it, I'd have the lead come back out and re-quote us. Just with the new changes we've made,
Right,
it may still be the same price, it may be a little bit cheaper now that the fact everything is in the cloud.
all right,
Are you familiar with either one of these?
I've never worked with any of the companies.
Sure.
So, if the government stays shut down and then they'll turn it back over, it might be yours. I might be applying to work at one of them,
yeah.
so,
Okay.
All right,
Thank you, David.
thanks.
Appreciate it. Okay, any other new business?
I'm done.
Okay, correspondence. Got Chiefs correspondence. That might be the best one we've
I
had
know
this year.
it is.
Definitely the
No,
largest.
No, this is the correspondence.
I think in the mail, I
It actually is.
Oh, okay.
We did have the quarterly health department statistics and report, so.
There you go.
There you go.
It's in my mailbox.
There you go. So correspondence, elected officials' comments.
Oh, go ahead, you start.
Oh, did you have correspondence? Or did you?
No, I have,
okay.
this is my notes.
Gotcha, okay. We got the Sauerkraut Festival, obviously, everyone be safe, be patient on the roads. Thank you. Thank you, road department, for doing what you've done in preparation for this crazy weekend that we are about to experience. And thank you, fire department, for the preparation and working with the other municipalities in preparation for taking care of the community and the outsiders that come in. So have fun, enjoy yourselves.
Just to piggyback on that, to let everyone know, the closure at Oregonian Road in Corwin will be open, this weekend, for the hill climb, for that expected traffic increase. So they'll open it back up. I think Mark told me, Thursday, afternoon, and then they'll reclose it, not Monday, but Tuesday, since Monday is a holiday. Just a little
Hot news
FYI.
right
That's
there.
good.
Hot news.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big doings.
I wanted to say, I went to the open house at the fire department on Saturday, and, TC was there, David, Josh, and Jennifer and Molly, and I just had a great conversation. Just want to say how impressed I was with the team there. You guys were great, and we had a good brainstorming session about what to do to bring people into the station. Well, Molly wants a bounce house, which I don't think that's gonna happen, so I don't know, but.
Molly can buy the bounce house.
Yeah, Molly can buy the bounce house, yeah. But maybe, CPR classes, maybe look at, Career Center for borrowing their dummies or something to do something like that. And I think you said you were gonna have a blood drive.
Yes,
And-
that's November 15th, I believe.
Okay. And Molly said she does, child safety seat, and maybe we could, advertise that to bring people in the community in to do that for children's safety seats.
I'd love to do that in the future, we're just not there
Not
yet.
there, okay.
There's a lot that goes into
Alright.
that.
But it was a great conversation to have with
Yeah,
them about,
yeah.
because they're, young and they're involved and they wanna do things, I can tell. So that was awesome. And then, just wanted to update from when Davidson's, Cheryl Davidson was in here, I did look up the date of when that volunteer FLSA changed, and it was 1985, so it was quite a while ago that law changed. So it wasn't anything, super recently. So it's unfortunate that we had that, but that's what it was. That's all I had.
You got anything, Wendy?
No, I'm good. You said it first. That's what, thank you. Appreciate that.
Get plenty of rest. Okay, moving forward, we have a work session. Chief, I'll let you start off.
All right. Excuse me. I sent you the proposal for the creation of a training captain for the department. It's my understanding they used to have one. I'd like to reinstitute that. It would be a volunteer member position. It's a monthly stipend. I also sent you the job description. So with that monthly stipend, they would develop the training calendar and deliver those trainings, maintain all the records and go ahead. Stand by, there's an emergency.
Be careful.
Somebody dialed up the gravity again,
Yeah.
turned up the gravity
Don't say
force.
that, they'll start dropping.
So they'll deliver, they'll be in charge of all the training that EMS, fire, driver's training, looking at revamping the onboarding process and having them deliver that as well as make runs as they're available. And they would have a captain's position, so that would add another layer of supervision
Okay, that was one of my
on top
questions.
of it, yeah.
Okay.
They would function as a captain with the fire department, so.
Would they have any direct reports, any lieutenants reporting to them?
Yeah, this is, the chain of command would be lieutenant, captain,
Okay,
assistant chief, chief, so. I do have someone in mind that is interested, he lives on Ellis Drive, so he's relatively close.
let's see, my questions as I went through this was, would any of the cadets be this person's responsibility?
Not until they get their certifications,
Okay,
and then at that point, they wouldn't be cadets,
okay,
so. But he can certainly work in conjunction with Scott on curriculum and stuff.
okay. Would the person get points if they go on runs and stuff, like a normal volunteer besides the stipend?
I would wanna discuss that with them. I'd like to keep it at just the stipend. But that's certainly something I would discuss with him and see if he's interested in that.
Okay.
So how many training classes would he be, or they be in charge of each month?
So about three
For each
3 weeks, because we have a fire training, the first Wednesday, EMS training, the second Wednesday, a joint training, the third Wednesday, which is supposed to be both a fire and EMS training, but we usually just catch up on stuff we've missed or find something new. Or review. So they would set that calendar out, yearly and then administer it monthly and make sure. They'd also manage the, Fire Rescue One platform, make sure everyone's getting their online trainings done. And set up the, curriculum. How we have it set up now is we try and, sculpt the Fire Rescue One online training to mirror the hands-on training on the Wednesday trainings. So,
Is that sort of stuff in Lexipool, or is that?
yeah, that's through
Is that,
Lexington.
okay,
Yep. And that's where we actually get our CEUs from. I mean, we get CEUs for some of the hands-on training, but all of the CEUs that we need for recertification come through Fire Rescue One in Lexington.
okay.
So,
So some of the questions I had is that, I know you said there's potential having somebody apply for it and stuff like that. Is there any kind of interview process that you have or anything like that for people to apply and stuff like that internally and externally? and
we
stuff?
don't have any internal candidates that meet the job description.
Okay. Well, what, anything with like, even with that, is anybody able to get the credits later on, like say that, like, you know, might not have the full qualifications, but could I earn the accreditations later, or anything like that, within a year, or anything like that, time frame or anything? Is there anything with that? I don't know if it is or not, possible or not, I mean, there is,
It would be very difficult, but yeah, they could. So the minimum qualifications are 3 years supervisor experience at the rank of lieutenant or higher, minimum of fire officer 2 for ability to obtain within 12 months, minimum of Ohio firefighter 1 and 2 certifications, instructor 1 certification, instructor 2 preferred, or the ability to obtain in 12 months, Ohio paramedic certification, preferred Ohio fire safety inspector, minimum of ICS 200, ICS 300, and 400 are preferred, or ability to obtain in 2 years. Demonstrated experience in conducting and leading fire and EMS training. Strong communication, leadership, and organizational skills, ability to work flexible schedule, including weekends and evenings, and to accommodate the needs of the department. Active member in good standing with the Wayne Township Fire Department, or willingness to join.
okay. The other question I had too, so you have a monthly stipend or whatever.
Yes.
So are we going to, well, I guess it'd be for the board, then, right? We're gonna reconsider anything with the payment for the volunteers that we have currently or anything like that?
I think we need to look at that in the future.
Okay,
Yeah.
cause I don't think, yeah, cause it just needs to be consistent across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're gonna do a stipend here, we need to make sure.
So so this position has an expectation of 15 to 20, a set expectation hours. That's why I'm asking for a stipend, whereas the volunteers, if they're not available, they don't come.
Yeah, 10 to 15 is what you said in there.
Yeah.
Good luck with
help lifting, or?
I guess I'm just gonna go straight and see if you're cool with that, chief.
Yeah,
Okay.
take Derek with you.
Yeah, it's one thing, like I was saying too, you said I mean, we're looking at a position, I just didn't know how you would go about filling it for the most part, and see internal, external, can anybody get an opportunity to be able to get to that later on? Then you gotta think about even later on, backfilling it later too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there any process that we look at some of the?
Yeah, so
whatever you get.
that's part of the job description, is he starts doing, succession planning for the future.
That's good.
So how many hours a month do you think this position is gonna require?
Starting out, every bit of 15.
And I guess the other question would be, do they know that it's gonna be like after hours and stuff? I guess it's not gonna be like during the day,
Yeah.
I would imagine, okay.
So if they do have the rank of captain, have lieutenants reporting to them, then is there additional work with doing that besides the training? Like taking care of issues that are brought up by the lieutenants? In the ranking system?
Like disciplinary issues, things like
Anything,
that?
yeah, anything that comes up, yeah.
Yeah, it could, because that's how the natural progression
Yeah.
works, but the captain can also move it up the chain.
Okay,
Like, I would not expect him to be the disciplinarian, so, if
okay.
that makes sense, like,
Yeah, you guys have a certain structure, so I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure.
I want his focus to be on delivering quality trainings
Right,
and making runs when he's available.
not all
So,
day-to-day
Yeah.
stuff that happens.
Yeah.
So when are you wanting this individual to come on board? Just like November,
I'd say probably first of the year.
first of the year?
Yeah.
I mean, I love the idea, I know where Andy's going, is just to make sure that there's not toes stepped on, or have people that may think that they're qualified, that they're already on the department, just to make sure we thoroughly vet that. Is that where you were going, Andy?
Well, basically, so when we do our job and stuff like that, if you have an internal candidate, you wanna try to interview them, at least have them have that opportunity or be in front of everybody to be able to state their case, stuff like that, but also it's an opportunity to network, right? You give that opportunity out there that you wanna do something, you wanna be there, you wanna see it, network with people, stuff like that. And then also, I mean, you can also find some people that you're like, oh, well, maybe there could be another role, another leadership opportunity for that person too. There's all those different things come into play, but I know that, it's one of the things I asked before, is like, should we just go ahead and interview somebody internally, just, if that should be a prerequisite, at least get to that point with it. 'Cause that's all I'm worried about, you got people that put in 20 years, 10 years, 15 years or whatever, and, I mean, it's good to have this part of it right here, which you get the minimum qualifications and stuff like that too, but
Yeah.
that's what
Some
we do.
of our part-timers would probably be able to apply, but I can't imagine they'd want to go from part-time to a stipend as a volunteer.
Right, because they couldn't do both. 'Cause
Right,
they're-
correct.
Yeah, we already know that.
Yeah.
But it's also a good opportunity too, plus you're also helping that individual out with a interview process too, because I think, there's people that interviewed for the roles we had for team lead positions where I had. They didn't have the minimum qualifications, but I wanted to interview them, give them opportunity, give them a little bit of mentoring about how to go interview, where did they maybe lack in, or maybe what did their successes were and stuff, and then, just to have that opportunity is big, I think, because it's also my opportunity to take time with them for just a little bit of time, to show them what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do too.
I would-
Just some of my thoughts, that's the way I go about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So we'll continue this, but I want some time to kind of soak on this, and we'll talk about it next meeting, so.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, thank you for presenting.
Yeah.
No problem.
Do we need to have a work session regarding the monies?
Well,
Back to you, Scott.
So in our general fund, here it is. It looks like, so right now, so I went through and redid our tax budget, to tighten up the numbers, so we have a better idea of where we're headed. In addition, I think I told Diane that, now I've got a little bit harder numbers, because we've gotten all the tax money essentially we're gonna get this year in, and they've given us, them being the, Matt Nolan's office, has given us, projections for our inside knowledge, for next year. For the, general fund, minus, any extra stuff, make sure I'm looking at the right thing. This year, we brought in $648,990. Next year, it's anticipated like $673,000, but again, there's gonna be other money that comes in that goes into that, but we don't plan, for that. But there will be an increase, so for property tax, if it remains the same, we'll be going from $276,000 basically to $305,000. Our property rollback will be about the same. Sorry about this, the sheet is, my glasses. Expenditures, looks to be about $685,000, for next year. That is if we, is that right? And the total expenditures, yeah, $686,788. Now, that will be, of course, that is if we spend everything that's anticipated or appropriated. Obviously, we don't always do that, and that's where we end up with carryovers as well. So that's gonna be, so if we take that, I guess I didn't get that number. I have 686. 78 plus 100. So, $1.3 million essentially is what, is at the 100% carryover rate, 1.3 million. 576. So we'll have a carryover about 702,000, $346. So, would be above the 100% mark. So we kind of need to decide what we're gonna do with that. I know there's.
So we need to figure out what we're gonna do with 702,000, you're talking.
Yeah. So we can have projects, obviously to help spend some of that down. I mean, I know we need a parking lot and road department needs stuff. Also, I spoke, with Matt about, because, some of that too is perhaps turning some of that back, back to the citizens. And he said it would be just us telling him that, we wanna cut X number of dollars out of our revenues, and then they'll figure it on the backside, and then we start catching up, and then we can turn it all back on. That's also an option. I didn't want to
Say that again.
So, instead of.
So you're saying you give back money, but then you can increase, so you can go
You can go
down,
back.
and then you can go back up if
Right.
you need to,
Yeah.
for the payment.
Well, we would have to, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we just turning it back to use the money that's overage
On the inside millage.
on the inside millage
Yeah.
until it's, until we run down, let's say, $700,000, and then we could turn it back up, as it needs. And he said it'd be easy to just call him, and he would be able to, make that adjustment. But I just wanted to give that as an option to you guys in addition to, the other options. So we need to kind of decide which way we wanna go with that. Now, if they're not anticipating, again, anything to be done this coming year. However, he did confine it, and I just thought that this is what was happening, because he said that, there was gonna be a big push this year, but, because they kind of ran this into us pretty late in the process. However, they've teed us up because we're going now into, the fiscal process, or into the appropriation process. So the anticipation is next year, that we will address some of this. You know, and the reason I'm bringing this up is we're going into the appropriations process, and if we don't address it, then it compounds next year, so when we're sitting there in July talking to them, you know, they're gonna wanna know. Now, also, you know, some of this, it may be higher too, I mean, because right now, we're just guessing at, right now, what our carryover is gonna be for the year. We haven't completed the year, so we don't know what, obviously, truly what we're carrying over until after the beginning of the year, right? So, we could do harder numbers for the permanent appropriations, you know, down the road. But that's something we are gonna have to look at the general fund about taking care of that. You know, and we've got a lot of overreach also in the fire fund, and depending on, I don't wanna take any wind out of the chief's sails. So he does have I'll go this far, he has a staffing plan that he's presented that would help reduce some of that. So if we went like how it is right now, we'd have $2 million in the fire funds that we would have to figure out what to do with. If we do the staffing plan that's been suggested, we'd be at about $1.2 million of having to figure out what to do with over the next year or so. Or, you know, and again, he's not saying that we have to get rid of it in a year, but we can put it towards something and have a plan to get there, is really what he's pushing for. So if we say, we're gonna build a large barn out here, you know, if we can say that, well, we're gonna take this $800,000 in our general fund, and we're planning on building this big structure, he's okay with that. So, you know, we can have carryover as long as there's a plan.
It's a big structure.
Right, but I'm just saying, but we just gotta have a plan on what we're gonna do
Yeah.
and actually execute on it, cause you know, it's probably gonna come about that they're gonna get the power to turn back the faucet, right? So, if they don't see us actually making good faith effort to do
The
something.
basics is gonna be staffing and equipment,
Well,
that's your
yeah.
two biggest ones,
Right.
really.
So didn't you say we could do a capital fund also, and if we had?
I ran that by him, yeah, he says in theory it would work, but, I don't think that he was gonna, he didn't seem very positive. He said, yes, in theory, what I said it would work, but it sounded like.
Endorse it maybe would be the problem.
Right, yeah, so he wasn't really on board with, my plan on that piece of it.
But if we had a better capital plan, it would help us a lot.
Yeah, if we have a capital plan, yeah, certainly, you know, we do need to develop one, because as it stands, we don't really have capital plans. I mean, I know we have a replacement plan for certain apparatus and things like that, but we've never released it since what I have seen, I mean, I could absolutely be wrong, because, you know, only been here a year, but what I've seen, there isn't been a true capital plan on marrying, well, we're gonna buy this piece of apparatus, and this is how we're gonna get there, or this, you know, dump truck or whatever, this is how we're gonna get there with an actual capital plan. If we had a capital plan, that would certainly help, defend why we would have, you know, overage above, that. So, that was just kind of the gist of it, so, you know, obviously this, you're gonna have to think about it, we'll just do more discussion, as we work into the appropriations, this year, so.
Brad, was there ever any kind of capital plan besides building the fire station?
We had a 30-year capital plan for all our equipment.
Well, you have a replacement
Yeah.
plan, you don't have a capital plan. Right, I mean, you're gonna say, X year you're gonna do this, but it isn't really,
We kind of had a vision,
Yeah.
I would call it.
It got adjusted every year, so I mean,
Huh?
it's got adjusted every year, so it's no different than like having a 5-year plan that others put in.
well,
What's he calling a capital plan? I mean, what we
That's
call
it, is it a
what we call a
definition?
capital plan, what he's calling a capital plan, what's the difference?
I
I
think what he's referring to me is just a replacement plan, like, you know, in 2015, we're gonna do this, 2018, we're gonna do that, but there's no money associated with that.
Well, I mean, it's same as the vision board or something like
Right,
that, in my
yeah.
opinion. So I mean, yeah, we've had those types of plans
Right.
and, you know, set aside, this is what we're gonna, you know,
But we're not,
a tanker and this year.
sure, but we're not
buy
setting aside
EMS.
money and.
We were never setting aside money,
Right,
no, we were
right.
just had it there in the,
And,
in the
and
budget,
if we use,
in the
and
funds.
depending on how we
Really
use
set
some
it
stuff,
aside,
we'll have to be.
Yeah, we didn't,
Yeah,
we
which
didn't
is
keep
the
it,
same thing.
we didn't open up another bank account or anything.
Well, no, you wouldn't have, to. Yeah,
Or anything
right,
like that.
right. So, we'll have to make some of those decisions.
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Plan on executive session, or work session next, meeting
Yep.
yeah,
for both of these.
so think, what you wanna do? We
Will
know,
not be going away.
No.
Chief, did you have any thoughts?
Yeah, so, Assistant Chief Hollich and I have been working on a staffing plan. He's on vacation, so I didn't wanna present it without him, so we'll have it for next meeting,
Okay.
so.
Can you kind of send out the highlights prior to the meeting, so that way we can
Yes.
review
Yeah, I'll-
it and
I will have it to you probably on,
not asking for, I don't care if it's the weekend before or something like that, but just something prior
Yeah.
that we can.
I'll probably have it on that Friday. It's done, I just wanna do some final editing,
It's fine.
so that Friday I'll send it.
You have dollars involved in that, obviously.
Yeah.
Cool. Any executive session?
I don't think so.
Okay. It is 8:02, make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second? Diane seconding.
alrighty, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, like sign, motion carried.
Meeting adjourned.
We're adjourned.